right, I'm currently on the phone with Cesar. He's another musician that reached out about the current interview session. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the chance to introduce himself.
Hi there. My name is Cesar. I am the leader of a local jazz band called Los Tamales. We are a Latin jazz fusion group based out of Oak Lawn, Illinois. Pretty much we play around the whole Chicagoland area, a mix of public and private events. We play at places like coffee houses, restaurants, bars, but we also will play for things like government-sponsored events, things like festivals. We recently played for like a military tribute event in South Holland. And yeah, I think that's about, everything that you need to know about us to start off with.
All right, perfect. Well, we will definitely get into a bunch of that, but let's start where kind of it all began. Tell me about your first interactions with music. When did you kind of realize that music was going to be a larger thing in your life?
Yeah, so I picked up the trumpet when I was 10 years old. Well, actually, I think I was 9 years old. So this would have been like at the end of fourth grade. Much like a lot of other people, the local middle school came over to demonstrate their school band. And the following month or so, the band directors came and had us try out a bunch of instruments. So I was still in elementary school at the time. I was like really small. I could barely hold a lot of the instruments. But after trying out a whole bunch of things, the trumpet was really the thing that resonated with me the most. Beyond that point, I kind of picked up both like concert band music, classical music, and jazz music around the same time. It was actually when that middle school came to play for us, it was their jazz band. And jazz music was actually like the first kind of full band experience that I had, at least as a listener. And so that was always the thing that really attracted me the most. After that, it was really just about, staying consistent. I really enjoyed performing with jazz bands and decided one day that I wanted to lead my own.
Okay, so you mentioned that it kind of all started when you saw the band come and do a demo in front of you, and that was part of your school or, the high school or whatever that you'd be moving into kind of thing. Did you continue to do all of that throughout school and then in college as well? So you were part of like concert band, jazz band. Did you do marching band?
Yeah. Marching band was actually required at Oak Lawn High School. It's required for every musician there. But I did pretty much everything all 4 years that I was there. I played in multiple jazz bands, played in the concert band. I also did more extracurricular things outside of school. Like I would play with local village municipal bands, which is kind of like volunteer organizations. But yeah, I have continued to play throughout high school and then now college. I'm in my final year of university. I'm a computer science student, but I have done music the entire way through.
Okay. That's actually kind of where I was going to go with this next. Outside of school, like private lessons, community orchestra kind of stuff. Did you do any private lessons? You mentioned you did community orchestra type stuff.
Yeah, so I took private lessons from a woman named Cindy Gradek from probably the ages of, I think, 12 to 15 or 16, I think, on and off. I now teach my own private lessons. And let's see. The closest thing other than, trumpet lessons that I would have to say is the Moraine Valley Combo Director, which is like a smaller jazz group. It's not directly private lessons, but it's a group of 4 to 6 musicians at a time. So it's a pretty small group, and I would consider that private lessons in a lot of ways.
Sure, definitely. So let's talk about what the ambition was to kind of put the group together. You mentioned that jazz band was a huge influence on you, and also your connection to trumpet kind of leads you more into a jazz environment. So tell me about how the group all came together.
Yeah, so the group actually originated in 2022, so we're a pretty young group. It originated from the Moraine Valley Community College Jazz Combo. It was like that small group of musicians that I mentioned, a lot of people that were very, very talented musicians. And effectively, we wanted to come together and just kind of write our own music experimentally. the director of the combo had us work together to kind of create a song on the spot. And it was really experiencing this kind of creative endeavor at first that inspired me to kind of start doing my own thing and to really start becoming a leader in many regards. And so I pulled the people from this jazz there outside of Moraine Valley and started rehearsing over one summer, just kind of experimenting, right? Seeing what we can do. And with our very first ever, place that we played as like a local open mic. We saw a very, very tremendous response from the audience. And that's what made us realize that people really wanted to hear us. But beyond that, we started to have more commercial, more professional ambitions that developed after we started to play for more private events, things like birthday parties. We've played for holiday events, other things like that.
So you mentioned that this all kind of stemmed out of a challenge to kind of write your own material. So is your specific group that you kind of put together, are you guys doing original music, or are you doing like renditions of old jazz standards?
Yeah, so Los Tamales has a pretty diverse set list. A lot of the things that we do are originals, but we also mix in popular jazz standards as well as modern jazz compositions from artists like Leve. We also work with things like Latin jazz, where maybe it's not American jazz that most people are used to, but it is music that has been deeply, deeply influenced by the American jazz tradition. So we've done stuff from like Afro-Caribbean music. We have done Japanese jazz fusion. So it's a pretty diverse group, pretty diverse selection of music. Yeah.
Okay. And so are you guys purely kind of just focusing on live and getting good at that? Or do you also have ambitions to get into the studio and make it kind of a studio project as well? What are your kind of ambitions for this project?
Yeah. So when it comes to digital music or music that, you can hear not live, we already have an album out. Well, we'll call it an EP. It's only 2 songs. This was our debut album. It's called Tamales a la Carte. It's the first thing that we ever produced. It was our first time ever being in a studio for pretty much every single member of the band except one. And even though it was our first time, we actually made it to 2 of the most major jazz radio stations in the country, WDCB Jazz in Chicago and 88 Point Jazz in Minneapolis. Both of them were under the same showrunner named Michelle. She runs a show called Jam and Jazz. She had our music out there. So kind of it was a big objective to just get on the radio. And we didn't really expect to get onto something so major. But we, really happy to have done that. When it comes to live music, our ambitions are more professional and commercial based. We are really interested in getting into things like corporate events, private events. We try to run things like a group of contractors that are working to provide entertainment services around the Chicagoland area. So these are typically 2 things that are kind of related to each other. We mainly use our digital music as a way to advertise and showcase our abilities to potential clients and people that we're looking to work with.
Yeah, that's great. I really appreciate the perspective of really kind of harnessing the business aspect of it, where obviously, there's passion in creating the music, but there's the unspoken dirty side of music that you do have to still market it and make a business out of it if you want to survive off of it.
Yep, it's definitely not easy.
All right. So tell me a couple of memories that you have that have really kind of motivated you to keep at it, continue to do it, keep working at it, and keep you like focused on what the goal is.
I think the most influential moment for me with the band was, the first client that we ever had, like a private client, was a close friend of mine who hired us for a birthday party. And it was really that single birthday party that made me realize that, we can actually have serious professional and commercial endeavors with this group. Not only was everybody performing very, very well, but it was also seeing how her and her family responded to that performance. People, in the audience, her family members were saying, I can't believe how good these people are. I can't believe the way they sound. These people are a professional group. And it was actually the money that we made from that event that was used to pay for studio fees to record our first album, which got us onto the radio. So many other things have kind of branched out from this one singular day that I think that specific event kind of like is the most important day in the entire band's history. But other than that, I think we also can't neglect just kind of the first time that we ever went out to play together, because I think seeing how everybody reacted to our very first performance helped us, confirm that basically we were on the right track, that the sound that we were creating was appealing to other people, and that we kind of just weren't doing random stuff. We had an objective, and people could see that objective and were connecting with it.
Awesome. Yeah, it definitely really helps stay motivated when you can see people are, getting connected to what you're putting out there. All right. So where can people find your project and listen to the, a couple samples that you have out there, the 2-song EP thing, and then follow you for any of your future gigs?
So the best place to look right now is our Bandcamp. So this is lostamales.bandcamp.com. You will also see our original EP, Tamales a la carte, out there. And then we also have a smaller project, a lo-fi track that we made with just 2 people. That is also on our Bandcamp. If you want to hear more information about where we're playing live, what you should do is check out our Instagram, Los Tamales Jazz, or our website, tamalesjazz.com. Our website is, in my opinion, the best place to find more information, because we have a little events tab that will tell you detailed information about every single public event that we have coming up in the future. Other than that, if you want to see more information about us, you can pretty much find us on any platform just by searching Los Tamales Jazz.
All right, perfect. So I always like to give the person I'm interviewing the opportunity to put out their last word. So what's a message that you have that you want other people to hear?
Yeah. So the most important thing that I'm really trying to convey with Los Tamales as a whole is kind of the potential for commercial marketability for jazz music. In my opinion, a lot of people mistakenly cast aside jazz music as something of the past, and they don't even realize how deeply it has surrounded everything that we listen to today. Think about things like Christmas music, for example. Everybody still loves Christmas music, and a lot of that is just straight up jazz, and whatever isn't just straight up jazz is likely jazz influenced. Other than that, we have things like rap, hip hop, Latin music, even a lot of pop music is deeply influenced by jazz music today. And I think that the most important thing to take away from pretty much everything with Los Tamales, because of how diverse our music is really that jazz music is everywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere, and it most likely will not be going anywhere. We hope that we can continue to further the progression of jazz music with our own originals. But we also hope to highlight some of the already prominent people and bring them to light to our audience. And I think, that's all I'll have to say about that.